Yeah. Are you writing all this down? Like you've been hanging up on me. Steady. Steady guy.
Pause the recording, guys, because this is not part of the recording that you're going to be putting on your YouTube thing.
You
So
never know. We've kind of determined that we want a lot of this shit.
Not just the play.
Yeah, I apparently didn't click that properly.
All right, right on.
I'm ripping it.
Those of us just joined us.
No. It was just the recording. They've been here the whole time.
They've been there the whole time, but now
We've just
for
been rolling without documentation.
I mean, we're at it.
Yeah, this is it. This is the favorite stop.
One of them, yeah.
Vermont.
Yeah, Vermont.
Vermont is
Mountain.
amazing.
Yeah, it's just the air is fresh. The courses are great.
Well, being here this time of year,
there's nice amenities. It would be fine in the middle of summer.
It would, but like.
Well, so Worlds is there next year, right? Pro Worlds is there next year.
That's correct.
Yes.
And what month is that going to happen? Is that going to be late again?
Gotta be late.
Is it
July?
It's gotta be. I bet it's August next year.
Oh, that's great.
Or like late August. It's probably about this time next year, because when we had 2018 when World was out here, it was super late because that's the only time this resort is available. Otherwise, it's busy with other events.
Oh, pull up, right?
Right. There's this like dead spot between when the summer events end and then the winter starts that the resort needs people. So that's the only window we get.
Yeah.
has there been coloration on the foliage out there? Are the leaves starting to change?
They are.
Oh, big time.
Really?
They are.
Everything's on fire.
Taking some good selfies out there with that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like that was probably like last year when I came out here this time of year. That was one of the things that sold me, and they were talking about the fact that the turn was happening a little earlier than normal. But as we pulled, so we finished up with US Masters and then pulled off an 18-hour stretch of driving between the two of us.
Yeah, we finished Sunday at like 4:00. We left
Straight
town by 5 and drove the 18 hours straight and got here at noon on Monday and played.
Oh, you guys drove over. I was thinking about that today. So you guys left Sunday night and drove it straight.
And then we got 18 holes in on Brewster Ridge.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And then crashed hard.
Damn.
Crashed hard.
Yeah.
So
Knockout Gonzo.
So good.
Yeah, one of you probably
we got
crashed in the van on the way to the house, right?
What's that?
One of you probably crashed in the van on the way to the house. All right, just wake me up when we get there.
No, we were like,
I'm just kidding.
You can't sleep until I sleep, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we took turns like in the overnight part.
Yeah, it was like 5 hours and then 4 hours, then 4 hours, 5 hours. Yeah. So, but
yeah, it was rough. But we made it. It's the only time we've driven through the night this year. So
it's probably been the worst drive this year.
Yeah, and we made it, and it felt good to get here, be able to get around in. It rained almost all day today, so most people really didn't get good practice.
No,
we got most of the course on Fox Run done today, and we'll finish it up tomorrow and get some more refreshers at Brewster tomorrow, and then we start Thursday playoffs. This is 125% of the Pro Tour points at this event, and next weekend at MVP. So we expect some like really big shifts, and expecting, because we haven't played this many woods most of the year, and nobody gets to drop this event. So if we have some high profile players who have gotten a lot of their points on big open events, now they're going to be in the woods and they have to count those points. They don't so if they finish really low, it's not like they get to just drop it. Somebody who's much lower than them could jump them if they finish significantly different than they normally do according to the Pro Tour standings. So
high pressure.
It's going to be very interesting. Both of these events have those kind of stakes.
Yep.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, guys,
I'm
definitely appreciate we appreciate you guys always checking in with us, and always the input is amazing, and I hope that the people out there are following along assiduously. We wish you, Sarah, the best luck this week.
Thank you.
Go to Maple Hill, and that's going to be the crucible out there for you. So definitely good luck to you, my friend.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
And let's shift right in. And as we start, as usual, our segment with our
Thanks,
guest.
Sarah.
Hi guys. See you next time.
I have a little intro for you, my man. So
here we go.
Here we go. This is just for you. Ladies and gentlemen, our next player on the tee is a man with the plan to stand the life of disc golf forever and a day. And his profile pic on the PDGA sheet shows a man mean in green staring at the screen and chasing the dream. He's motivated, he's dedicated, and quick to unwind and snap back again every day because it's all about that grind. He's a soldier in the West Side Squad, a dues-paying member of the Dark Ace Army, and a loyal ranger in the National Park Service. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on the tee from the Twin Cities of Northeast Louisiana in lovely Ouachita Parish, Chris, who let the dogs out, Zagone.
Let's go.
Nice.
That was really good. That was really good. That's good. I appreciate that. And my favorite part is the Wichita Bears. This is Washita, but like you wouldn't know that if you're not from there.
Nice.
I took a guess.
No,
I didn't even
It
pick
looks
up on that. One of my high school teachers called the Washita River Washita, and like the Battle of the Washita was Black Kettle versus Custer in Western Oklahoma. And I go, no, it's Washita. And she's like, excuse me? And I go, it's Washita. I've been there. I've actually been to the museum, literally. I went to a powwow there 2 different years as a kid. So it's interesting. I didn't even catch that when you said that.
That's really good.
But that's O. No. Is it O with you or is it W?
Oh.
It's just Washita. I don't know. Like everybody used to tell me back home that like it looks like it spells O-U a cheetah.
Yeah.
O-U a
Cool.
cheetah.
But it's different. It's the same word, different spelling.
Yeah.
Because the
But,
Oklahoma one's with a W.
It's that it's some Indian stuff like the Poverty Point Indians or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely a lot.
But yeah, thank you so much. That's amazing. That's probably the best intro I've had all year. And I've had some pretty interesting intros all year.
Really? Okay, cool. Because we just finished at the Toronto Island Maple Leaf, and I take that as an opportunity. This would have been your Saturday, the good, and then Sunday and Monday would have got progressively roastier to the point where you might have been like, "You hate me, dude? What's going on?"
Yeah, that's probably what I'm used to. Like OTB, like every day got a little more intense. You know what I mean? Like it was just your name, then like your name, your city, and then like your sponsors and some accolades and some other stuff.
No, but I'll flame you. I'll find something on Instagram. And by the way, getting to the bottom of your Instagram is like trying to figure out what the last number in pi is, dude. I scrolled through your Instagram for like an hour, and finally I got to it. And what's the first post? You're geeking out over M&M pretzels.
Oh yeah, that's way down there. You went to the bottom.
I went to the bottom, dude. That's what I do.
No. He gave up. Something happened and he bumped the wrong button and he had to give up long before he ever found the bottom.
No, but I did not.
Crazy.
I kept going. It was you're like almost 5,000 posts. Let me honestly, in all honesty, you are a very savvy social media TikToker, Instagrammer. I feel like you're kind of building a good brand for yourself and as a real promoter for Sarah. Are you starting to see any kind of online momentum from all this? Like are people kind of reaching out to you? Are sponsors reaching out to you because of what you're doing?
I mean, like obviously one of the ones I'm wearing right now, Perks and Recreation. That's like one of the people that you see a lot of my content. I'm wearing a lot of their stuff. That was something that before I left for tour 2 years ago, this is my second full year on tour. I met them through like a mutual friend that created the connection. And they were like, yeah, like, we would love to work with you as far as like a promotion for some of our things. But at that point, they didn't have near the line of clothing or anything, but it was just kind of a thing in waiting. And so they've supplied me with a lot of clothing, apparel, different things like that to wear. And they've also been a big, huge supporter. Like my tour series disc that dropped a few weeks ago, we picked them up at Worlds. They were a big investor in that. So there's been some things along the way, like it was all just kind of like when I got involved with this stuff, it's just like I just wanted to create disc golf content, right? Because there was not a lot of that stuff kind of going on. And then whenever I got involved with Westside, I wanted to create Westside centric content because like Dynamic and Latitude are like phenomenal at promoting their own brands, but like Westside is kind of owned by both of those brands. And so there's not a lot of like Westside centric content. So like, I just wanted to kind of be like a forefront mover on that kind of stuff. So, and that kind of worked out really good.
Mhm.
and it's kind of grown on from that. But like, yeah, like there's been a couple little smaller, like Freedom Flight was one of the early brands that was like, we would like to support you. And they supplied me with like dirt bags and stuff that had my name on them and stuff. So like Disc Dot, a couple of other content, I mean, the smaller companies. But yeah, no, it's again, like I did it all for fun, and I continue to create content that I think I would enjoy watching. So I try not to get too caught up in like the algorithm or like like all that kind of stuff. I just want to do stuff that's fun, that I think I would enjoy watching. And if people like it, like there's been a really good response. Sometimes a video falls flat, and it's just I try not to take anything personal and just continue to just like put stuff out.
Well, you're right on top of all the memes and trends, and like the TikTok, the songs that are trending. That can I get a like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
video?
Well,
You're really rocking it. From what I just shallow dip, but anyone out there who's watching, definitely go follow you. And
yeah, thank you.
It's good, hardcore, cool disc golf stuff. Really.
Yeah. I mean, like I've got a 20-year-old daughter, or she'll be 20 in October, that keeps me young. You know what I mean? Like, and like, so she was like, I resisted TikTok for so long, and it was always kind of been like a Instagram thing. And like the Facebook is kind of like a dying platform, so to speak. But like I resisted TikTok forever. And my kid had like the jump stream, and like, she was just like, if you do it, I'm telling you, it's all about niches, and like, you're in disc golf, it'll work out. And so like I kind of dipped my toe in it last year, being my first year on the tour. And like I had really no idea or direction or what kind of content I was going to try to create. I was just trying to kind of document my travels, and like, every now and then do something that was a little comedic or like trendy. But yeah, it just kind of got more and more focused as I did it, to the point now where it's got a pretty good flow. And it's just so weird because like the algorithm changes to where like you're putting the same content out that you were, and it's getting great like feedback and stuff, and then it just like dies, and like you're getting like nothing back. But like, again, I don't want to get too caught up in the numbers and the ego of it all. I just want to have fun and just like keep putting stuff out. So
yeah, focus on the content creation for sure. That's what you can control, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing you can control. Yeah.
But I guess we've kind of skipped ahead here. I guess, sorry, Mace, I kind of jumped. I saw that opportunity. But for those of us out there, kind of a standard softball question. According to your, I looked on your Fly Towel player page there and saw a couple things about you. And you discovered disc golf right after high school, fell in love. And do you remember what your first disc was? Do you still recall?
I do. I had a Champion Gazelle. I had a Champion Gazelle, and I had a 155 Omega super soft. So like the Omega putters, you know what I mean? Like yeah. And so like it was so glidey. I called it the Angel because I could just pop it up and it would fly flat. Like it didn't last long, and I had to find something else because that thing just got to be entirely too flippy. But I relied on the Talon a lot, like the old like Discraft Elite Z Talon.
Yeah.
And Gazelle. Yeah.
Wow. And so like we all have the story, all of us that are got into the game. There's certainly a moment where you realize, hey, I'm not just a casual player here. I'm kind of actually a Frisbee freak. Mm-hmm. And I've seen your videos. You post them like all your money's going to disc golf, like we all did. Mm-hmm. Do you recall that kind of transition moment, or that shift, or that metamorphosis into full-fledged Frisbee freak?
Yeah. So like it was I graduated high school in 98. So 99, like it was kind of like just like an off summer. I had a job as a bank teller. I just like, there was no really like future with that, but like a buddy of mine asked me to come out and hang out and like come out to this park, and we were going to throw disc golf. And I didn't know what disc golf was, but he had some, and like he put a Discraft XL in my hand, and like I had no XL. I would just stand on the front of the tee box and just like throw, and I threw a disc like almost 300 feet the first time I had ever thrown it. And it was like like 280 something foot on like a 315-foot hole. I had a birdie putt, which I missed terribly. You know what I mean? Like it went high and like hyzered out because I had no eye, but like I could see, I was very close to the basket.
So
I
much
was like,
nose up, it was side up too.
do what?
So much nose up, it was side up too.
Yeah, it was just like it reversed backwards whenever it came. Yeah, but like the
You're
fact
still
that I was to throw that shot, and I was like, okay, like I've got a little bit of distance, and so distance was something that I had, like not really like big time distance, but like newbie distance was something I had almost out of the gate. And like I started to develop an X step, and I could like throw over 300 feet pretty early in the game, but my short game was terrible. So it was just that, like, I guess I got bit by the bug of being able to, like, when I threw early on, people were like, holy crap, you know, like you can throw far. But I got too drunk with that drive for show and didn't spend enough time in that putt for dough.
And then it was too late. You were hooked into the life.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, it was fun.
So Mace, you had an interesting question that you wanted to pose to Chris.
Well, so, you know, we've kind of touched on this afternoon in our conversation on the phone. You know, you worked for me this last year, and it was a great opportunity to get to know you. And, you know, I was driving around and you and Zane were in the back seat talking real golf stuff. And then, you know, other people were trying to contribute that really should have just shut up and listened like I did. But that's a whole nother subject with shoes in the mouth and that kind of thing. But, you know, I don't know, like you probably didn't even realize at that time when you were talking to Zane about all this, about what your role was going to be this year. And
Right.
so I want to, you know, you know, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of people that do know you, but there's also quite a few people that don't know anything about you. And there's also quite a few people out there that don't really know about what's going on out there right now. So why don't you talk a little bit about like what your role is, and talk about other people that are on tour that aren't golfing, that are in support roles and different things like that, you know? And not that you're not golfing, because you are, but obviously you're playing both sides of that fence, and it's working out pretty well for you, I think, too.
Yeah, no, I think there are a lot of opportunities out now right now for people outside of playing to be able to be involved with the game. Just because, I mean, like the relationship between Sarah and I, as far as like a player caddy kind of thing, has developed as the year has gone on. You know, when the season started, like we were both trying to figure out like, for first of all, how our relationship worked out beyond anything beyond golf. But it's kind of the place now where I feel like there is I don't know if there's like there's places for like supportive roles. Like Sarah has had a caddy and Steve for a long time, right?
Yeah.
He's been very, very supportive in her ability to succeed out here on tour. And so I've tried to learn a lot from their relationship and like adapt that to my own, and being able to help her as well. So I don't know, like there's things where, and like she does a lot in helping me as well, as far as caddying goes, to I don't know, like I don't want to sound cliche and play your best golf, but like there's definitely something beyond just like a caddy that you might just pick up. Somebody says, you know, like,
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I saw that in Tyler when I was walking with you guys, and like I picked up on it almost immediately when I joined up with you within a couple of holes. That, you know, I mean, I played a couple of practice rounds with the two of you before you left town, and I could see the difference like immediately. And so I totally understand what you're saying. And I think that you know, that's definitely obviously something that's going to develop over time, but that's something that, you know, part of the little the battle between you helps enhance, I think, as well.
Yeah, battle, sure. But like even before we get too far away from this, but like you talk about like Brad Hammock being like a full-time caddy for Yulee this year. You know what I mean? Like there are like some high profile players that are working with other high profile players and helping them be able to execute the best version of their game plan. So, and like, you know, like these 2 weekends coming up, like I'm not able to play for Green Mountain or for the MVP. So like I'm going to be working very closely with Sarah on each of these events to try to make sure that we can finish as high as we can on these leaderboards. But like we also, it's just kind of, it's very much like, I don't know, it's something that we've been doing for a while. So it's not going to be super out of the norm. And I'm excited to kind of execute what we've been working on all season. Kind of like what I was talking about, like early in the year, I don't feel like it was quite efficient as it is now. And so I'm excited.
Sure, well, you know, you're figuring out your, you know, your whole program, both of your program.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be really exciting. And we've got a lot of things planned for the off season this year. There's kind of some stuff going on. You know, there's the 2 Silver Series events that are taking place that are kind of working towards 2023. So it's kind of like get ahead of the game plan with those kind of things with the with Lake Marshall and the I think it's New World somewhere in Florida. So we'll see how that plans out.
Any chance to go back to the MACEMAN crew with some lighting and rigging?
Oh, you know how it is. Like I've got a pinky that says otherwise.
You know, your year this year, you've divided up into Pro Open and Pro Master, and obviously you've been having better success in the Masters.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of both.
Obviously you'd prefer, I mean, as an age protected player, you have that luxury of choosing, you know, kind of which division you want to play in. Some of those events you've been forced to play in the Pro because they haven't offered the Masters. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously you're there to play, and for you, it's always improving, right? That's one of your mottos, was leave the game a little better and always improving, and listen to metal. Was that the third one? That's definitely a commandment with you, right?
Yeah. No, you're right on. Like, yeah, like I think the whole thing is like, obviously last year was definitely a little more Masters friendly with a lot of the Pro Tour events. Like they would have a lot of the Pro Tour events that would have an age protected division as well in the same weekend. And so you could kind of run concurrent with that. And then like this year, that wasn't so much the case. There was like either the week before or the week after the Pro Tour events, there would be an age protected version of either one of those. And that really doesn't work out with what's going on with me and Sarah, because it's like the week or before or after we're in a totally different place, you know, on down the road for the tour. So I probably played most of my season was against like on the Elite Series or Silver Series, which is probably a little bit outside of my range, but I learned so much. I was able to refine my form a lot. My putt has gone through a great evolution. And just kind of like my understanding of like, I guess like course management as a 42-year-old man playing against these kids that can throw like probably 120 feet further. You know what I mean? Like they can throw so far. So, but I did learn a lot, and like it hasn't always translated. I hoped that a lot of that would translate to playing like age protected events, but I've been going through I'm in a bit of a rut, so to speak. And like my mental, like there's something going on. There's a disconnect between what I'm able to accomplish between my practice rounds and then tournament rounds. And I'll figure that out. But I think that the advantage that I've gained in playing in the Elite Series events is still there, regardless of the fact that it hasn't really translated in tournament play. There's been a lot of things that I've learned having played against like far superior talent.
In one of your, in my trawls through your profiles and whatever, I came across the question to you: how do you get focused in the game? How do you stay focused? And if you, as you say, a self-professed rut, do you still have that internal dialogue? Do you still wrinkle some jingles through the brain to help you just kind of zone out and turn off the brain? And if so, what's the jingle?
Well, I can't tell you the jingle, because I don't tell anybody the jingle. But I will tell you there is a jingle. Like in my old one, before, like I told somebody my old one and it stopped working. I know that's completely mental. That's on me. But my old one was pitching in the kitchen. Like, cause I had like my old apartment. I had like a 35-foot space between my kitchen and my front door of my apartment to my front door of my bedroom. There was 35 feet. So I would putt inside there all the time. But there was also this window pane to the just to the left of where my basket was. So if I missed, I would obviously break that window. But that was the motivation to not miss, right? And so I would always tell myself, you're just pitching in the kitchen, right? You're just pitching in the kitchen, pitching in the kitchen. And then I had a friend over one time and they freaking broke the window the first time that they were there. So yeah. So that was it. No more putting inside the house after that. But so that was the old jingle. The old jingle was I'm just pitching in the kitchen. So now there's a new one. And I can't tell you what it is because I'm afraid that it won't work anymore. But there is a jingle that and I think it is important as a player that you either have a mantra or like a jingle or something that you say to yourself that creates a timing in your mind that by the time you get to the end of that jingle, it's probably time to go. Right. And so whether it's you just go through it a number of times in your pre-practice warm-up that you know what the timing is. And so you know when you get to the end of the wording or whatever it is, that it's time to do the things. So if you're looking for a way to start a jingle, just be athletic. That's the main thing I can tell you. Be athletic in everything you do, whether it's your putt or your drive or your upshots, just always be athletic.
Are you still running a lot?
I think a lot of people overlook, and I look at when I watch people play, one of the things, and I can't even remember who told me this, but he was definitely an old great player. And he goes, man, you're putting, you have to have a routine. It's just like to get that. They broke out the analogy that I could understand growing up in Kansas. You know about basketball. Well, you know about shooting free throws, and instantly I knew where they were going. I was like, yeah, you're going to tell me routine, aren't you? And they're like, yeah, exactly. You do it. If you step up to the line and you dribble 3 times and you take a deep breath and let it out and then shoot, do it every time. And it's the same thing with putting. And I see a lot of people take a lot of time, and like Kevin McCoy, my old buddy, he was one of the classics. His routine was keep on pumping until you're ready and then throw the right one, but it was there was no telling how many pumps he was going to do before he let go. And I see some people, they do the same thing, like Cam Todd. He'd look up and throw. He would look up, boom, and it was in. And that was his routine as well. And some of these guys, I don't know that some of them know about a routine, but man, I don't think it matters to some of them either. Maybe that is their routine, no routine at all.
Yeah, no, I think everybody's different. I think again, it comes down to being athletic and having I think the routine is absolutely look at Andrew Presnell. Presnell has 3 pumps and they look the same every time, and then he putts, and that doesn't change, And you got somebody like KJ who Kevin Jones doesn't. He stands out there and he just has that very athletic leg load and fires to the pin. And so it's whatever works. That's the beauty of disc golf. There's so many different ways to attack this basket and get that putter in the basket. So
one of the things that occurs to me during the talk about this is that it seemed to me in the past, because I've been playing since '93, and I remember seeing a lot of the older players, and each one of them had kind of developed their putting style. And everyone has their own putting style, whether it's full straddle and reaching way down, or sometimes people would do weird crank ups and stuff. But it seems to me that the range of variable putting styles is kind of coming to a bit of a smaller funnel of easily not approved, but more popular kind of effective styles.
Yeah. You're seeing less of I think of somebody like Jeff Bennett has a very very active motion before he putts or before he throws. And
that's for sure.
Yeah, so you see like a lot of the players now, like they have a very like compact version of that, and so I think the whole less is more, like unnecessary movement. You try to remove as much of that as you can to create a very like calm and smooth putting stroke. But like I say, like some of the people from the old school are going to do what they do. You're going to see the same thing from Barry every time he putts. That's not going to change, and that's it works.
Well, I remember watching Hosfeld just like take 4 or 5 steps up. That was his routine. He just walk up and bang like that. And,
Mhm.
it was remarkably effective. But anyone who tried to mimic that, good luck,
Yeah, like Converse.
Well, I mean, it's just like
backwards
any
putt.
putt though. You got to put your time in, Ron
Yeah.
Russell, yeah.
Yeah, Ron Russell, that's it.
There's
Look
another.
up, look over his shoulder and throw it in. Same kind of thing. Like Cameron
Same with
Todd. Like
Moonbug
if
would do that too.
he'd sit there, Ron would, and Brad Hammock would do that too. Like the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
shoulder thing. And they just get that whole shoulder and start messing with their shirt. And then they turn around
Yeah.
and boom,
And
it's in,
Sly little look over the shoulder.
and kind of wiggle into that spot and grind their foot into the hole or whatever, and
Yeah.
Well, listen, I know we got to let you guys go. You have to jump here. We weren't able to get into the whole dog story at the DGLO, so we'll have to catch up later. But if anybody is curious, please do check out Chris's Instagram and go check. What's your Instagram? What's the handle? What's the account?
Zagonage, Zagonage, Zagonage. It's my last name. So it's like there's a whole nother story behind that too. But I got to go pick up my kid from the airport. She's going to hang out with us for a week here in Vermont. It's going to be a great time. I'm super excited. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come and hang out with you guys and talk with you. Very much appreciated. I love you guys both. You're very, very near and dear to my heart.
Cool,
All right,
buddy.
cool, man. Well, be
Another
careful. on the way to the
daddy-daughter disc
airport,
golf day.
And good luck this week.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man.
All right, later, bro.
Later, man.
Oh,
All right. Well, that went well.
that went very well. That was cool. That we will get hopefully we'll get back to that story, but I guess since we're on that, it's a fun video to see. Have you seen the video?
Of the dog?
Yeah.
Oh, are you kidding me? I saw it today that it came out. Like
That's
I just happened to
hilarious.
catch it. I happened to catch it. It was just like it was something that scrolled, and I immediately had to I sent him a text, and I was like, oh, because like we had some background going on this whole conversation of he got scolded for his April Fool's video, and he got a text, he got scolded via text, and so I was like, I bet you got a text message about that, and he goes, no, the phone rang.
So for anyone who might be following, who doesn't know the story, he went back to the van during the Great Lakes Open, opened up the van door, and Sarah's dog went out in a mad blurt to go find.
I mean, like you got to tell the whole. I mean, Raven listens to no one, sometimes not even Sarah, and like just defiant at times. It's hilarious. And so I'm sure she was like, mom, 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 mom.
Running through the field, running through the crowds, and she almost ran over Paige Pierce, ran right in front of her. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, so I'm not very sneaky with this, obviously, but this is the next topic. But go ahead and carry on with what you're doing, talking about the dog.
Oh, well, do you just ruin the momentum on that one there? Come on, what are you doing?
Well, that's all right. Well, so this is something. This is a great photo that I saw, and it's from over the weekend at the Timmel, right? Like this is Toronto. This is like some of the heavyweights. I mean, all you're missing is Muller and maybe Jalonen in there. Although I mean, like Muller, like from the original Toronto crew, like this is all of them.
Yeah, you've got so starting
like
on
my time frame, anyways.
That's Adam Hazel. He's been running the Toronto Disc Golf and the Etobicoke Club. He's been making miracles happen there, and we're really hoping that he's going to be the TD for the Timmel next year. Next guy beside him,
Moose.
Moots is Brian Motley.
Wootsy wootsy.
He's living in Australia now, and he's talking about retiring to Thailand. So looks like the lure of legal prostitution and online gambling is just too strong for this guy. Next over here, Frankie Ursino, old school Frankie FU. Yes, he was one of the guys who started the game with Adam. And then you've got right over your head, Stephen Schultze. Got no zip anymore, unfortunately. So Schultze turned 60 and he's got no zip.
No zip.
No zip.
Zippity zip gone.
Blippity blip now.
Oh, and then there's you over there to the right. So anyways, that was just one of those things. This is a good times hour, and that obviously was a good time. And you know, I'm aware of those jokes.
You should have seen Adam. So Adam, what he does for this party. This is like a very exclusive players party before the Timmel. There were probably about 15 of the players that were invited, you know, pro level players. And he just goes all out. He catered the affair. He had plates of food out there, big tubs of beer and chilling wine. Plus he hired a bartender, 2. And they were making cocktails all night. Then at like midnight, he pulls out some ceramic bottle of tequila. And now we're all drinking that. And by God, he stayed up until he finished the whole bottle. I had to go. I still had roasts or intros. Saturday is the intros, the good. So I still had intros to write. So I was like relatively, but he showed up the next day and he was MP 40. So his tea time was, let's say, about 12:30. He had giant sweat circles. By the time he just walked on the first tee, he was sweating pure agave.
That's hilarious.
Still, somehow he shot the lights out and he shot a hell of a round that first round. But
did he end up winning the tournament or no?
I can't remember now. Holy cow.
I think wasn't he on the lead card?
He was on the lead card for the whole weekend, yeah. But that's a good question. Who won that freaking tournament?
There you go.
Meow. You think I don't? Well, Kim won, and by the way, congratulations to Kim for finishing a tournament on the island and winning his first one since I think 2008. That's
what division?
Pro.
Nice, way to go.
Yeah,
Woody Gibbler in the house.
And it was a 3-stroke lead over Martin, and Kim just like he was untouchable pretty well. Masters, all right. Grutenbuer won, stroke over Adam Hazel. That's what it was.
There you go. If he did let that tequila go, just let a little bit of that back in the bottle for Saturday night, you know. Yeah,
he shot. What did he shoot? That the first round, Adam shot 57, and then 59, but par 63. So that's 57. Not too bad. That's from the championship tees all weekend long too.
Yeah.
But that was I mean, you remember your time on the island coming up all those many years. It's
of course.
Especially there running a tournament over there, you know. You have to
water taxi.
Well, they don't really use the water taxis anymore, and they won't stop at the bridge anymore. So they're using, because Kim is living over on the island now, he got to bring his truck over and just load his pickup with just a crap ton of stuff necessary for the event. And also now they're doing it thanks to COVID. There was no merch payout. You get a chit or whatever for an online store, but they don't have to have anything on site, which is, from a tournament director's point of view, amazing. You don't have to have, well, you remember how many boxes of discs did you bring over there?
Many.
You merged
I
out
remember Twirly, what's his wife's name?
Carolee.
Remember Carolee pulling the trailer on the island? Like Twirly wasn't even pulling the trailer. Carolee's just pulling it like a
trailer, like an Amazon. Yeah.
Shit, like a draft horse, man. She was tugging away at that thing. She had it over there, and he's like off goofing off with the kids or something. They're like, oh. She's like, come on.
We're catching this ferry. We're not leaving.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, that's the thing about the island is, like, if you miss that boat, and you got stuff, like there's only one boat that you can load vehicles or things like trailers onto, and that's the Anguilla, and that's the big open one. And it only goes at certain times of day. And if you miss it,
Then Chappie will be riding it drunk without you.
oh, the stories, oh, Chappie.
Oh man. Oh, the captain doesn't know what he's doing.
Now, to Chappie's credit, first of all, he'd been drinking all day, so we understand him drinking all day.
That's no
There was that-
different than any other day.
But you remember that heavy bank of fog? The boat couldn't see the actual dock until it was like literally 40 feet away, and it kind of ground itself
I
on a
don't remember that.
Oh God, it missed the launch by like 100 feet to the one side, and then got stuck on a sandbar and had to like. And the whole time, you know, we're all watching this thing try to get off the sandbar, and Chappie's still drinking. And, yeah. Oh, good times. Always good times, right? Good
Without
times.
a doubt.
So we're talking about what's coming up ahead, what we're looking at ahead, and the next show, what we want to do is going to be just ahead of the USDGC, and you are going to be in South Carolina at that time in 2
I
weeks.
will be.
So
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
this is what people need to know if they're following us at all, or if they see this video later. Your contributions to USDGC can never go unremarked, because you're the only two-time winner of the Golden Rake, and you are kind of one of the fundamental backbones of the tournament. So the fact that you get there a week or two ahead of time,
2 week
weeks
ahead of time. Like I'm there for 2 weeks. By the time I leave, I'll be there for just over 2 weeks.
I mean, that's dedication, dude. Seriously, that deserves recognition first and foremost, honestly.
Well, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's like a well, I guess it's not necessarily pretty easy, but it's like a family reunion, you know. I mean, like this is 24. This is a 24th year, and then 2 years before we started, and we were there for 97 Pro Worlds as well.
Mhm.
So I've been there a bunch of times now. I mean, 25 times for events, but then I've gone early. Like last year I went early for 2 or 3 days in September and helped rip the course. And I've gone out there, man, there's a couple of years where I was out there for 2 months. Back in the day, I used to stay for a month. I'd be like there for 2 weeks, the week of the event, and then a week afterwards. And
That's
then over time I pulled back a little, but still, like last year I only went for 10 days. I didn't get there till like Thursday before, and it just didn't feel right. It just seemed like there was just all of a sudden it was on and it was over. Where, so like this year, it looks like we're, well, I made the decision today to blow another piece on Wednesday, which isn't really what I chose, but I've got a piece that really, it's going to take a lot of work to clean it up, or else I just need to make another one. And so that's probably happening Wednesday. So me and Tong, we're going to go to the beach for like 3 days. And so we're probably just going to leave later and still go to the beach for 3 days.
Nice.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm going to blow Wednesday night. It's not going to come out of the annealer until Thursday, and I really realistically need to put a resist on it and sandblast it before I leave town, or else I got to go do it in Charlotte, which isn't all bad, because I got a friend up there that I can do, and that may end up being what's happened. I may end up going and sandblasting that one in Charlotte, because I
What's
got
this-
a buddy in Charlotte that's got a shop.
Is it for you, the USDGC?
Say it again.
This piece you're working on, is it for the USDGC?
Yes.
Okay, so you need to get this. You need to knock this out.
Well, I mean, I have one that'll work, but it's really going to take a lot of work to make it work, and it'd be just as much work. It'd be equal work and more fun to just make another one. And I hit a pretty nice groove last night with two. I got a pair in the box last night that one of them I almost put on the floor. Well, I almost just put in the barrel as a crumpled mess, and somehow managed to save the bubble, and then went on to I felt like one of the ones I made last night was one of the best flattened pieces I've made so far, in terms of just being flat as a board, and then also being a serious rescue. I mean, that dog was almost at the pound getting euthanized. It was bad, man. I nearly messed this up at a point where I never mess things up. And I'm not saying that I'm great. It's like anybody that's been blowing glass for 9 years doesn't really mess it up, where I was about to mess it up last night. And then,
Mm.
you know, my buddy Nolan talked me off the ledge and goes, no, dude, do this, do that. All right, do this. All right, do that. Now do it all again. And next thing you know, I was going for another gather.
So it's amazing that you're diversifying your input and your content that you bring to the USDGC. But to wrap it all up, our next show, we're going to have Jonathan again, but we're also going to have Sarah Nicholson from Throw Pink.
She doesn't know this yet, but yeah, we're gonna have her too.
Breaking news. Breaking news. But that's going to start. You're going to be on site at the USDGC from then on. We're going to do our next show a week right after that with Juliana, very special guest, and US World Masters and FP50 winner, Juliana.
Also in Rock Hill. We're gonna do 2 weeks back to back. Next
And-
week's gonna be a 90-minute show because each Jonathan and Sarah will each get a half an hour.
And you will be on site at the Athletes Village.
No,
during
Vendor Village.
USDGC, the vendor village.
Yeah, we'll be at the Vendor Village and we'll be interviewing people heavy. We'll be doing
Now-
a lot of live streams.
It'll be the
I
good time
promise
down
I'll
there.
log all of this on YouTube beforehand too, everything we've done so far. But I'm definitely gonna do an interview with everybody that qualifies for the distance showcase for the first time before the event ever happens. You know, that will be the first time I've ever done anything like that. So I'm gonna interview all of them. So we'll get a little bit of insight on them before the show, and then before the showcase. And then you know, I'm gonna be pulling in people left and right. You know, that's probably gonna be a good spot to grab oats. There's probably, you know, there'll be a few other people. You know, probably try to grab a couple of officials. I mean, it's gonna be a great spot for that. So we're gonna have a lot of interviews. I'm thinking what will happen for most of them. For a lot of them, we'll just do a canned interview. And when I say that, I mean we're gonna have the same questions for everybody. Come up with a few questions. If you got suggestions, send them to me. But if there's something that you'd like to hear, ask a player, hey, what is blah, 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 blah. And then I'm going to ask all the players. I'm not just going to ask a player. I'm going to ask them all that. So, and that's something you and I work on between now and then as well.
And so to all that, we're gonna try to figure out so that I can also zoom in at times and be kind of a part of this. Of course, we're gonna try to build this up so that next year you and I are on site together.
Yeah. For
If anything,
25, number 25.
It's almost too impossible to believe that it's been 25 years just since the USDGC started.
It's amazing.
I remember so I ran the TIO in 1999, and that was the first year, wasn't it? 99.
Yeah.
And we got, because it was such a hot thing at the time and all the TDs wanted in, I used whatever leverage that I was able to have still from my dwindling PDGA influence and got the TIO at the time to be a qualifier for the USDGC.
Yeah, I believe I qualified at that one.
And the only reason why I ever made an appearance at the USDGC as a player, not as personality, was because of that tournament director's exemption.
That was a good thing though. I mean, there's a lot of people that got exposed that would have never even gone had they not had that opportunity, you know. And that was one thing that kind of really pissed me off about some of the top players at the time, where they were trying to push back on that and saying, look, there's a lot of players that didn't even get to come here. And then you got this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, and this guy playing. And it's like, hey, well, you know what those guys are going to do? The next time you go to their town, they're going to run their event a little bit differently. They're going to take a page from our book and put it in their book, and they're going to go home and they're going to put on a different show. And you need to remember this and that, and you need to not say this publicly ever again. You know, this is one of those things that you just need to keep to yourself. If you're saying it at your house to your girlfriend or whatever, that's one thing, but don't come out in the public and say this kind of crap about these people. They're the ones that are putting on the shows for you, you know? And so that, I don't know that, but there was, you know, things happened in the evolution, and like, the performance division brought that to the forefront, and then when it went away, so did so did all the, like, qualifiers are you only get four people per event now. It's not 5, and there's fewer because it's not, like back in the day, Jonathan would, we'd have 180 people, 190 people. And dude, like, they're doing tee times at 7:30, 7:15, and we're barely getting it in. Like, dark 30 over there is about 7:15 or something like that, and people are coming in at like 7:05.
Right.
Like Monday qualifying is almost always a playoff at 7 almost. And it's nearly dark, so it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out.
Well, how many spots have they got this year? What's the
For
total?
what?
What the cap field for the USDGC?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. We'll have to do some homework on that.
Maybe
But, I mean, it's coming
2 weeks.
it's coming together. So I mean, I think there's only, well, surely. Well, no, that's not fit. I mean, I guess these last 2 are probably both qualifiers. Although since they're playoffs, maybe the qualifiers are over, except for Monday qualifying. Maybe everybody's in, or everybody's been invited. See who's in.
And how many people from Monday do qualify?
Oh no, just
One.
one. Yeah.
Is it always
No,
only one?
no. I think it's 5.
Okay.
No, it's not just one. It's 5. No, they'd never fly.
But it's
5.
5. It's always been 5, right?
Yeah, I'm on glue.
Oh, buddy. So I think that was fun times. It was great to shake up the show a little bit and have our road report first. First of all, it's great to see the 2 of them again because we hadn't seen them since July, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I saw him about 10 days ago in Emporio, and that was great too.
Talking about us here, good times.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, come on. Well, you gotta come to Pro Worlds next year too. It's closer.
It
Gee, the
is.
new stuff.
All this
Yeah.
travel we could be doing.
Yeah, it don't cost that much to buy shoes these days.
This is being recorded.
Oh yeah, it's definitely being recorded. We're still live in it.
I don't know how you do it, Mace, but you got it, kid.
Yeah, well, I've been trying for a while. They've been pitching to me for a while, and I'd struck out a lot. A lot.
So after the USDGC, and this is kind of one of the reasons why you've narrowed your window with your availability of putting in all this time at the USDGC, is you've got an incredibly amazing, thriving, viable lighting business for Christmas.
It's just mind blowing.
You've nursed this for the last 15 years.
This is 15 years, yeah.
And you've got it to a point where your estimates in the first week is just off the charts, and it's only just beginning, right?
Well, and but it's going to end pretty quickly too from that standpoint. That's all. Most of all those estimates are good for till the 30th. But if any of this comes through, man, I'm going to need a lot of help. Well, either way, I'm going to need a lot of help.
That's true. I mean, this is why you're great to have some disc golfers on the tour that just need to get some extra scratch in between in the cold months when.
Yeah, I'm hoping that more of them are biting on that, but those guys are making tons of dough out there too, and a lot of them don't need it.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive to live out of a van, and it's not, I mean, if you can handle it, if you're equipped for it mentally, literally, I mean, like, you'll know quick and in a hurry if you're a road dog or if you're not a road dog, and there's been several of people that we know that we're good friends with, and they just had to go home because that wasn't right for them. And that happens in the entertainment business too. I mean, there's a lot of people a lot of those people that I mean, shoot, Kurt Cobain might not have been a road dog. That might have been part of his problem, that he was forced to go all these times and he just really wanted to be home. I don't know, but that is definitely something that you have to listen to. If you get out there and you get that homesick, then you better go home. Me, I've always felt comfortable on the road. Like the more the merrier. Let's go. But I mean, that's one of the downsides of Christmas lights for me is like that's a whole quarter where I don't really get to travel.
Right.
You know, I'll probably slide up for Thanksgiving, but if you know,
And this is what's so ironic about the USDUC is that's right in the meaty part of the curve where you like if you weren't going to South Carolina, you could be knocking out business every day of the week, you know?
well, I just have to make sure I'm ready, and I'll have guys working while I'm gone.
So
I'll have the commercial guys will start on around October 1st.
when you're there in Rock Hill, will you have to field calls and texts from the guys sometimes?
I'll take a little bit of, there'll be some, and there'll probably be some emails wanting estimates and stuff like that. And that'll, we'll see how that, you know, this is new territory for me with these, commercial jobs, you know, I don't know what to expect. I mean, I have a pretty good idea, but I don't know how it's all gonna go.
Hey, just switching gears real quick, and since we're having this basically just between us, were you ever able to talk to Climo?
Yeah, I sent him a text and I didn't hear back from him.
Okay.
I'm gonna give
certainly-
him a call at some point and just see what's up, but
Definitely someone we definitely want to have on the show because obviously one of our certainly my hero as a young disc golfer growing up through those 90s.
well, he's
Absolutely.
definitely, and a good friend too. I mean,
Right, yeah.
yeah, I mean, we need to get him, we need to
Yeah.
definitely, we need to talk about the Flamingo Casino in Kansas City. Like when we get him on, because dude, like he was right there in the middle of all that. Like
No,
he was
he
over
wasn't.
my shoulder going, dude, put some of that in your pocket. Put some more of that in your pocket. Go ahead, put some more in your pocket. And like he was right. He was the voice of reason. And I mean, I wasn't going crazy anyways, but boy Dodgy was with that roll. Remember how, I mean, he rolled for like 45 minutes.
45, yeah.
It was
Dodge.
like on a movie. They're like,
That
seriously,
dog
you
dodge.
tune into any movie
Mhm.
that's got the roll roar of the craps table, and this was all of that and more. I mean, we had the whole table except for two couples, one at one end and one at the other. The rest of them were all disc golfers, and it was at least 3 or 4 people deep for every person at the rail. It was one of my favorite tour memories still to this day. That was a blast. That was a great good time. So we
Yeah.
got to get the champ to talk about that, among other things.
Was that was 99? Was it?
It was earlier than that, dude. That might have been like
98?
that was
90
96 or 97.
No, I think it was 98. Because that was just after we moved you.
Was it that same year?
I think so. Because we played
And
Peoria,
Rivers won that year.
then we went down to Waco, and then we went up to Kansas City, and then Minnesota. That's right.
Waterworks and Rivers won.
Yeah.
I remember
Rosedale.
I was on the last card. Yeah, Rosedale and Waterworks.
Yeah.
I was on the last card and watched Rivers. Oh, and I think Swope too. I think maybe we played 3 that time.
Oh, that's right. Swope. Yeah.
Rosedale, Waterworks, and Swope. Or maybe it was just
Maybe it
Waterworks.
was just
and Swope.
Rosedale and Swope.
No, there was definitely the one that Rivers won was definitely Waterworks because I vividly remember being on the last card watching him throw putts in. Like he backed down. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody back down from as many putts and then go back and nail them from all over the course. I mean, just he would get lined up and you'd be like looking, okay, he's gonna throw. Holy cow, he walked off of that one too. Damn, man, what's up with this? You know, and he'd go walk back to his bag and then he'd walk back up and he'd line it up again and throw it in over and over again. Over and over again. And I was like, remembering, yeah, that probably was 98 because 97, I remember, I'll never forget this either. Rivers shot a 45. It might not even have been a 45. Yeah, it was a 45 at Hornets Nest in Pro Worlds in 97 when Hornets Nest was fresh. Like that was at the time, without a doubt, that was the meanest course I'd ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't speak for anybody else, but that was the meanest. I mean, like just like I was still shaking my head, and I'd already been out that you know, to Michigan in 96. So like 96, 97, 98, I was like, how do I learn how to play this way? How do I learn how to throw these shots? You know, because there's no place like there wasn't. I mean, now there is. We've luckily found some holes in some land around here where you could, like Zebo's obviously was, you know, my baby. And when I inherited it, like I started looking for stuff like, cause it was there, you know, like hole one's long tee. I stood on hole one's short tee so many times and looked backwards and just like, I'm telling you, there's a hole here. It's going to be awesome. It's going to eat some people's lunch, but it's going to make golfers, you know, and then, you know, climbing from 1 to 3, what's now 3, there was a 2 in between, but we didn't find it for a long time. I mean, we had to cut our way in. We literally had to cut a trail like through 6 foot of thicket crap, just would shred you if you tried to walk through it. And sure enough, man, we found a hole back there, you know, and so people come from that course and they're tougher, you know, they got skills that other golfers in the DFW area don't have, because
Exactly.
you know, it's not just Texas style golf. Some of those holes are, but man, you know, 14, 15, 16, even 13 and 12 for that matter. I mean, you throw out of the woods into the open, get ready.
No, but it's true. I mean, you put a hard course in, it's challenging, low ceiling, narrow, maybe you have to do precise S turns. That challenges and pushes the players who like play there and then they discover that they're good at it. You know, a player who is similarly challenged at a different course, like say Centennial versus the Island, we knew when Centennial people came down to the Island, they were dead because they're just used to
Yeah, come and get it.
high long ones. But if you're used to like those tough grinding courses where you have to hit those precise lines, you're gonna thrive at almost any other course. And speaking of which, Rivers, one of the great hot players of the 90s, who really was like a up and coming young talent,
For
good kid.
sure.
He is, for those who don't know, go to pdga.com and look at the logo. That's him. That's his putt.
So you know what? Okay, so and you were working there when they got this logo, right?
Yeah,
And so you know that for sure.
absolutely. I remember the photo they took it from.
Okay, because you know, there's a dude in Michigan. Oh my goodness, I can't remember his last name. He's an old friend of Javier Kowalski's, and he swears his first name's Ken. God, he's got a brother too, and he's a master. Well, obviously he's a grandmaster, maybe even senior. He may be over 60 now, but I don't know if he's quite that old. But he, you know, he swears it's him, and I'm like, no, dude, that's Riv. And they're like, no, and I'm like, no, dude, that is Rivers. So there's a guy in Michigan that swears up and down, and he's really good friends with Javier. He's a great guy. His name's Ken. I can't remember his last name. Somebody will remind me once they hear this, but yeah, see, that was one of those things I couldn't argue with him anymore. Like he was out at the memorial and he was like, oh no, you see me every time you see the PDGA logo. And I was like, that's not you, Ken. That's not you. What's up, Pete Wingard?
That was taken, I believe, it was from the cover of a Disc Golf World News.
Well, that was his style. That was his putt. Like he was like one of the most open-handed putters I ever saw, you know?
Yeah. Now, of course, they had to crop, or they had to move the image of the basket is closer, but like, because you could tell he's going to go way above the dime on that thing. He's going to miss the logo.
Kenny Gill. Pete just gave me the name. It's Kenny Gill.
No, it's Rivers.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to burst any bubbles, but I was working at the PDGA office at the time. I remember them all talking about that.
Well, and I remember you telling me that too. Yeah, Ken Gill. And Ken's a good guy, don't get me wrong, but like I'm over there hanging out with Javier Kowalski. He's one of the nicest guys in the history of nice guys. And you know, I see him that's one of the people I always see at Phoenix every year when I go out there for those trophies. Man, that's going to be a good trip this year. I got Rage Against the Machine tickets the weekend before, on Sunday before the memorial. So I'm going to be in town a whole week. I'm probably going to go over to Tucson maybe on Monday or Tuesday and blow glass if I can, you know, get some time. And yeah, it's going to be such a good trip, man. It's like the second vacation.
I don't know. Anytime I hear Tucson or places in New Mexico and I hear the word glass, I just think Breaking Bad, and you're like going to go sling some crystal the tour. I don't know. It's just the prejudice of Netflix, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Looking ahead, we do want to keep our schedule to every other Tuesday, and hopefully we can lock down our guests and be able to promote it ahead of time. But definitely, this is a pretty good format where we do the webinar. In the future, we're going to want to send out direct links, so we just don't have people coming through on Facebook to catch us. But definitely, we're getting our stuff together. Mace is winding down the tournament blowing glass season, and
Winding up.
winding down.
Winding-
Is fine.
I'm gonna be doing a lot of live on location shows coming up here. You know, I'll have to drag the computer with me and just do them wherever I'm at. You know, maybe some at the shop too. I got to set up at the shop, so. And but yeah, it's I think that there may come a time in next season where we maybe ramp it up a little bit more, but we'll see what happens.
And you know, we if we can do some pre-recorded content ahead of time, we get our stuff together, we can bang stuff out. But I think that went very well with Chris. I think that was a fun conversation. I think he enjoyed being the one to give his opinions and talk about things, and you know, not just himself, but you know, I thought he really got into the whole talking about the mantra and the jingles and focus, and yeah, I thought that was a really interesting dimension.
Those are the kind of things that people need to share, you know, because I mean, like I think that there's some people out there that don't know about routine and things like that, especially newer players,
Mhm.
you know, but I think there's
Well,
some veterans that may not know as well.
That was a good analogy to basketball when you step up on the free throw
Oh
line.
yeah, and that's totally, it works so well. You know, like so many people can relate to that because not everybody played hockey when they were young. Not everybody was lucky like that. But you know,
Right.
basketball is good, reasonable second
But
place there.
it's the same kind of idea. Like you're standing there alone trying to put it into the hoop, and you're standing there alone trying to put it into the basket. Like it's a different motion, but it's the same you on this item. You got to get the biscuit into the basket.
Oh yeah. There's some biscuit basketing going on. Man, so training camp starts next week. It's only 3 days. I was surprised. I thought it was a little longer than that. I guess maybe I'm always surprised by that.
Oh, hockey.
Dude,
Another season of heartbreak coming up ahead.
You think?
Yeah, for us, yeah.
Why? Come on, dude. You guys were on the verge. You were on the verge last season.
I question the heart and character of the team. I don't question Tavares at all. I think he's a great captain. I think he's probably always leading by example, but it all goes back to Nylander. He's, you know, I hate to validate what Don Cherry says about Europeans, but he's just kind of a shiftless, lackluster Pavel Bure type, you know, heads in the game when his head is in the game. Otherwise, he's a. Or who was the guy
You
who
need a
played?
team in the West, dude. What the?
Who's the guy who played for Montreal? That always the Russian guy. Oh God, I forget his name.
How far back are we going?
Like the late '90s, early 2000s. He was the guy who got slashed on the wrist, and he just dropped everything and like skated off and knocked his own player out, and that opened up the zone, drop puck, and Buddy took it the other way and scored against the team. And meanwhile, of course,
Man,
they're
I
only.
don't remember any of that.
Oh man. Anyways, we're talking about this season, not 20 years ago.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, dude? We got a new season. It's like everybody's 0-0. We're back to the
I know. I'm just
screw
nervous.
everyone and screw him and everyone dressed like him, and that's as nice as I'm gonna be about it.
So, are the Sharks still like the big rival with you guys?
No, nobody's a big rival with the Sharks anymore.
Okay.
Man, I was gonna show a picture and I can't remember. I drew a blank. Well, I mean, St. Louis is definitely one of our rivals. The Wild is definitely one of our rivals. You know, since Detroit defected to the Eastern Conference, you know, so what? There, you know, it doesn't even matter anymore. Like I barely even talk shit to anybody that is a Pink Wings fan, you know, except for all of them that show up. But like none of my old like Dave Nesbitt and Mike Randolph and those guys, like I still talk a little shit to Mike every now and then, but I just have to remind him, I'm like, hey, are you guys golfing yet? Oh yeah, you guys are golfing every day.
He hasn't become an Avalanche fan. He's still supporting the Lightning.
No, dude. It was there was an Avs Red Wings series, playoff series, and a bunch of the Avs fans really, really ripped on the Red Wings. He kind of got his feelings hurt from it. And I'm like, dude, if you're going to home games in the visiting jersey, you got to know you're not. This isn't your home.
Why?
Even if you got stuff in a house near here, this ain't your home because you're wearing that shit because you grew up somewhere else. And that don't expect, man, I had this guy. So we waited 1 year after the Stars. I think, okay, so it was, remember when Turco had 3 shutouts and lost the series to Vancouver in like game 7? It was a record, an NHL record. Turco had 3 shutouts in the series.
Were
And
they all
so-
home games?
and the Stars lost to and it was just like, I can't
See?
remember exactly what it was, but I was so bitter, and we didn't meet them until like literally until February the next season. Like we did not see them one time, and they're a Western Conference team, so you're still going to play them 4 times. Well, we played them 4 times in February, March, and April that season. And so we got seats down by the aisle not on the aisle, but down in the section where they come and they go, intentionally, because I wanted to heckle Luongo and I wanted to heckle Bieksa and who was that other soft bastard that went to the Ducks besides Bieksa?
Oh,
Um,
Kessler.
Fuck.
Definitely.
Excuse me. Yeah, that guy. And I
Well,
wanted to heckle
hey.
all 3 of them, but especially the Luongo. And so we strategically got ourselves got seats over there from my rep, and we were yelling at them before they hit the ice on the way out. And then all of a sudden I noticed this guy sitting behind me who was like, get really close to the back of my head and do his best to yell as loud as me. And he couldn't do it. I wasn't even yelling in his direction, and I was drowning him out. And I just started talking shit to him without even turning around. I go, I don't know what your game is, buddy, but I know where the line is, and I'm walking up and down on my side of it. I rented my seat just like you did, and I'm going to do what I want, and I'm not going to cross the line. So better get used to it. This is our house. And I turn around, his son's wearing a Luongo jersey. And so he's like all distraught because I'm ruining his son's good time and blah, blah, blah. And I go, hey, buddy, I'm sorry, but you are not at home here. I don't care if you own a house in this area. You own a house in Dallas County and you got your kid in the Luongo jersey. You ain't getting treated like, you're not getting them to roll out the carpet. We're not rolling out any red carpets for you. We're going to roll out a shit carpet for you to leave on. Oh yeah, and I didn't even say that. I didn't cuss. I mean, like I got my games on point at the games. I don't want to, I don't want people with kids to be down on me or whatever. But I've been in that same section for about 15 years, maybe longer.
What, right where they come out? That section?
No. But sometimes they can hear me if it's quiet. But no, those seats there, dude, that was good stuff. Like this guy he went and complained to the usher. Him and his wife had a little powwow about it because apparently they had 2 seats elsewhere. I just ruined that poor kid's time. And I was just like, I bet the kid was laughing really, but his dad wasn't laughing.
Sometimes you go to sporting events and people get fucking beat down and slugged down. That's ruining someone's day. Just yelling at someone's goaltender. Come on.
Yeah,
Especially with
most of
you
the
know,
fans are too soft here for that kind of beat down shit. You know, I mean, it's
well,
not open.
now I do have to say, if there's anyone, and to our future posterity watchers, watching a Stars game with this guy right here, that's a trip.
Come on.
That is a trip. Honestly, so I think I've seen at least 2 games in the ACC or AAC.
Yeah.
And of course that legendary game 5
Langenbrunner scoring from center
Wow.
ice. Like, who's gonna
Oh.
ever forget that, dude? That's still top three for sure for
That
me.
Reunion Arena, 19 early June,
No,
late May,
it was nine. It was it was June. It was the playoff. It was the year we. It
98.
was the year we got eliminated by the Red Wings, but it was game 5.
Game 5
Red
in
Wings,
Dallas.
Red Wings Stars, and they had us on the ropes because effing Marchment took out Madonna and Neuendijk. This was 98 for sure.
Yeah.
Took out Madonna and Neuendijk in that playoff series with knees, dirty hits. Now we're gonna have his son on our team. So yeah, that was the guy we got from Florida.
Le boucle est bouclé.
Mason Marchment.
Wow.
Anyways, yeah, so yeah, that was greatness, man. I call up Elliot, or no, my buddy calls up, and you know, Tom misses epic games. Well, he's not with us anymore, but he calls up and he's like, I'm not gonna make it tonight. Do you know anybody that wants to go to the game? And I'm like, hey V, you want to go to the game? And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. You know, it's going to be an epic game. I mean, you know, you always get sick for the epic ones. So we'll tell you about it tomorrow. Yeah, dude, that was awesome. That was a great game. Dumps the puck from center ice. It goes, Skip Anheuser right behind the and Osgood tips it in with his own stick.
It was a total Hail Mary mercy shot. I mean, Stars were down.
It was a dump and chase for a line change. I mean,
but just to get to that point, that was in overtime. Just to get to that point, though, we saw, because we were down there. That was the Stars end right there, I think. Wasn't it?
Oh
no,
yeah.
That was the Detroit end.
First and third. We score on them first and third on that end.
We saw Carbonneau just put the team on his back and engineer that victory, engineer that tying goal to put it in overtime.
Oh yeah, he did that
like the dying minutes, like maybe 2 minutes left, maybe a minute and 45 left, and we just saw it. We're sitting there, we're looking at down in that little corner right there. We're like, holy cock, look at what's going on. Can you feel it? Yeah, I can feel it. You feel the goosebumps on your neck and the hairs start to rise, and they score. Holy good! Yeah, I thought you were loud when you were excited, but that. I thought my eardrum was going to blow.
I probably didn't talk for 2 days. I wasn't able to talk normally for a couple of days after that because, you know, you'll just go ahead and blow it, you know, spring that vocal cord. It was, that
was right after we moved you in, wasn't it? I believe it was.
Yeah, we were going back. That was the day Hannah was born. That was the day Dean's first daughter was born. The young lady that I quit smoking for. Yeah, come on, 24 years ago. 25. Wow. I thought it was 25 last year, but then I had to be corrected when she told me it was when I saw on Facebook that it was her 24th birthday. I was like, damn, I thought it was 25 years without a cigarette. It's only 24. So I got the quarter century without smokes coming up February.
No smokes. Let's go.
No smokes. Let's go.
Speaking of a little tangent to the Trailer Park Boys, you would have loved this. One of the golfers in the pro division, up and comer, his name's Nahan Fahey. So for his other Sunday or Monday, I did a Bubbles intro. Mr. fucking Fahey over here. Nobody had ever heard me do the Bubbles before. Well, a few people, like just a couple people had heard me do that, and they just lost their minds. They were laughing.
Because you're really good at it, dude. I mean, it's spot on. That Paul Little thing, you know.
I should find that and read it to you. To be honest with you, it's like Jess actually recorded a shit ton of this stuff, and I think you can find it somewhere on there. But oh man, that's gonna be tough to find where he is. That was tough logistically because I'm using a Word-based document and I had to keep moving stuff around. Oh, there it is. Right, it was the Sunday. Don't look now, but it's Mr. fucking Fahey on the tee. Randy Bobandy shot you a fresh blue jay, and it's only the fucking bird you're going to be close to all day. This corn sucker here is probably letting the liquor do the driving. And Fahey.
I'm sure you brought down the house with that.
Oh, I tell you, it's I hate to keep going on about it, but it's just such an amazing, like no one, when Slater approached me in 2015 and said, "Hey, are you interested in doing this?" The only thing I had in my mind is what I had seen on Sports Center. Will Ferrell had done intros for an NBA team. You know how they call people onto the floor
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
and he had done like, next up, Carlos Boozer still lives with his mother, like just a little thing. But I thought, what if we did something like that for the golfers about the tee? And so it's just kind of evolved from that germ, and it turned kind of into like a 2/3 of a Comedy Central roast.
I ran into Slater in Phoenix a couple years ago.
Right on.
He was kind of surprised. He goes, "I can't believe you remember me," and I was like, "How could I forget you?" I mean, like we've hung out several times. I mean, it's not like, and I remember he showed up in USDGC a couple times too. And made a point to come talk to me and everything like that. I'm like, dude, seriously, I'm not that forgetful. Come on.
Well, he's retired now. He's living out in Nanaimo, and he's living the good life. So good on him for that. We miss him here with his work on the Toronto Island Maple Leaf. And now Ken, I don't know if you ever met Ken Little, but he's gone now. This is his last year. That's why I was saying we're trying to get Adam to be the TD and just move onward and upward, because it's a prestigious tournament and it shouldn't all be allowed to just waste away,
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Anyways, my man, it is a school night and I have kids to cross tomorrow and people to
Oh,
train.
yeah.
So it's been incredible to hang out and chat with you like this, to be honest.
All right.
Good night. Good night to all out there in virtual land and recorded land. We wish you a good night. And we'll have more material next time, hopefully. More on point. It's going to be a fun conversation with hopefully Sarah and Jonathan.
Yes. Hey, what's up, Cassie? She's on the other side of the globe. Cassie Sweeten and Pete Wingard are with us right now. Right on. So yeah, good times be. We'll there'll be a little bit of travel time and we'll do some talking and get ready for Jonathan and Sarah.
Yeah.
And get ready for championship week.
Okay, because we're gonna roll right into Juliana, so we got to get ready for her too, man.
13 days to Monday qualifying. 13 days. Come on.
Let me know if you need any research done on any of these players. I'll do what I can. All right.
Oh yeah. All right. All right. Cool. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot. And we'll talk real soon. See you.
Okay, bye. Come on.
Come on.